Hey, welcome back. I'm Ferrikster, here to bring you some more Pokemon Go GBL battles. These battles are played in Ultra League Remix Cup. I have decided to make my life difficult again by using a fully non-XL team. I have access to some XL Pokemon. Some of them are almost the whole way built. But yeah, some of my viewership is undoubtedly going to ask me to make a fully non-XL team, so I figured for the first rotation of Ultra League and Ultra League Remix, I'll just go fully non-XL. Try to hit Legend during the first rotation without using XL Pokemon. Non-XL Pokemon can definitely hold their own in the right circumstances. XL Pokemon obviously have slightly wider coverage, meaning they will perform better in neutral matchups than, most non-XL Pokemon are, but some non-XL Pokemon still have fantastic bulk. I am opening with Scavalier. And in the back, I have Gengar and I have Gliscor. So Gliscor is a Pokemon that can be XL slightly. Mine happens not to be. It's actually, it doesn't have amazing IVs in the first place. But yeah, I had built this one because I wanted to keep it fully non-XL. You can make a slightly higher stat product Gliscor by using an XL one. I think you'd only really have to go to level like 43 or 44 or so. But yeah, just in the interest of keeping it completely non-XL so that I can make my title being non-XL, I went with non-XL Gliscor. If you have a Shadow Gliscor, that would also probably work just fine. I find that regular Gliscor, the main matchup that you might need a little bit more damage output than what you get from a non-Shadow Gliscor would be against Galarian Stunfisk, where a Shadow would be able to one-shot with Earthquake. But with non-Shadow Gliscor, it just means that you'll need to throw a Night Slash also at some point. So whether you want to throw the Earthquake first and then chip with a Night Slash, or try to go for the boost slash the bait first and throw a Night Slash first, that's kind of up to play style. Because depending on what MMR range you're in, they will either typically shield or typically not. That's something for you to discover. I don't know what exactly point people start shielding and then stop again. But just, keep the trends that you see in mind. In the back, I also have a Gengar. There's not a ton of Pokemon that you can choose that are non-XL that have broad usage. Gengar is one of those. One of the best things about Gengar is that you never really know what the charge moves will be. Like, I've seen people running double nuke Shadow Ball with, like, Focus Blast. I think the most typical sets are Shadow Punch with either Sludge Bomb or Focus Blast. There were, full disclosure, there were a couple of battles that I've had over the last few days where I really regretted not having Focus Blast, notably when you get stuck against something, excuse me, like a Registeel or a Stunfisk. Against a Registeel or a Stunfisk, even to some degree a Scrafty, but Scrafty at least will still take neutral damage from Sludge Bomb. Of course, it's always generally a lot better to have Sludge Bomb when you're dealing with a Charmer, although Gengar has a pretty decent-ish matchup there anyway. And I prefer Sludge Bomb for Mandibuzz because Focus Blast also hits for neutral, so does Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb just comes out faster. You're going to need 2 of those charge moves regardless, so Sludge Bomb coming out a little bit faster and having a better neutral hit because it gets stab. That's why I ended up going with that. But I could be way off. If you already have a Gengar with Punch and Focus Blast, could try that out also. I think under most circumstances that would be fine. It's just it's different. Not necessarily better or worse. All right, into this next matchup. Escavalier into Granbull. This is obviously a favorable-ish matchup for Escavalier because of my Steel subtyping. But I have to be really careful not to let him sneak a Charm in. He got a Charm in there. Yeah, it can be a little difficult to deny Charms. You're going to shield my first Drill Run, and I am going to shield the charge move coming from this Granbull. crunch. He doesn't get the defense drop, which is nice. I'm going to throw one counter and then throw this drill run. So because he snuck in a charm, I'm definitely not going to be able to reach. But even if he hadn't snuck in one, I'm not sure I would have reached it anyway. I'm just going to switch out to Gengar. Since I've gotten all of the shields down and he stayed in, I'm just going to throw the Shadow Punch before he's able to throw his next crunch. And a Toxicroak comes out. So with this Toxicroak, I end up deciding to go for a CMP tie here, throwing my Shadow Punch. It obviously will not KO, and I'm going to have to shield this Mud Bomb. There wasn't really any need for me to throw that punch there or at any specific time. Like, it might have been better for me if I had just kept building up energy, tried to sneak in an extra Shadow Claw, because I already know that since my punch wasn't going to KO, I could have just saved that energy, you know, for whatever came out in case I needed to hit it with something other than Shadow Punches. That's not what happened. It turned out to be an Escavalier, which, you know, Gengar will be Shadow Punching anyway. But either way, I'm going to end up CMP tying there, getting taken out by the Drill Run, and now I can just bring out my Gliscor and just showing that is enough. My opponent resigns the game. GG. So, next up, against Arceus? Escavalier into Scrafty. Scrafty is a very common lead right now, and it is an amazing Pokemon in this meta. Escavalier does beat it in most circumstances. I forget if this is the guy. This is the one where I shield, and it turned out to be an Acid Spray. So, feels really bad. I'm just going to throw this Drill Run, and because my defense has been double lowered, I'm just going to switch out into my Gliscor. Not going to shield this. Having a regular Gliscor as opposed to a Shadow means I can survive 2 foul plays plus all of the associated counters. And I'm not going to throw a Night Slash at any point because throwing the Night Slash is a waste. Scrafty will not shield it, and it will do basically nothing because it's double resisted, and these wing attacks are super effective, and you can see how not that much they're doing in the first place. So I'm going to Blind Throw Earthquake here, and a Skuntank comes out. That is going to still leave me with enough energy for a Night Slash. I could have thrown it, but I didn't realize that I was going to have enough energy for that also, so I ended up just going down with it, but that's okay. And my opponent is going to switch out into Drifblim. I'm just going to bring Gengar out as soon as I can. They're throwing this move too early at only 4 hexes, so it can only be an Icy Wind. It's 5/5/4 hexes to the Shadow Balls. So I'm just going to throw this Shadow Punch since they have debuffed me, and I'm going to be able to reach this next Shadow Punch, CMP tying them with their next Icy Wind. And throwing this is going to take them out. I considered undercharging a little bit so that maybe they could Icy Wind me and I could just punch them down, but there wasn't really any need, so I just hit too many bubbles and was able to take them out, and my opponent resigns the game. All right, next up against Skies. Escavalier into Stunfisk. I love seeing Stunfisk. Always nice to see some really expensive XL Pokemon getting countered down by an inexpensive Pokemon like Escavalier. And Pidgeot comes out, which I don't have an answer to, so I'm going to stay in for a bit, throw that Mega Horn. My counters are hitting for neutral, and the Gusts are hitting for neutral, so this isn't a terrible matchup. I'm not going to shield here because Pidgeot never doesn't throw Feather Dance, like ever. It's always Feather Dance. It's always Feather Dance. Anyway, I learned the hard way here that Pidgeot wins CMP. Everything wins CMP against Gliscor. I did not realize that when I started running it. But yeah, every damn thing wins CMP against Gliscor. I have not won CMP against anything yet. So since they debuffed me before I threw my first Night Slash, I'm going to have to throw my second Night Slash here. Would have been better for me if I threw my first Night Slash and it just, wing attack down. But at least I got the attack boost. Lucky me. One is a 10% chance of getting that boost. Only threw 2 Night Slashes so far here, but I got the boost once, so that's going pretty well for me. And I'm not going to shield this Rock Slide because it doesn't KO. And these Mud Shots will not KO either. My opponent switches out at exactly the right time to make a catch on this Earthquake. I thought I threw it at a kind of random time, but I guess they read me like a book, and it's a Drifblim, so I'm not going to stay in. I'm just going to send Gengar out right away. And I make a mistake here, which is shielding the Icy Wind. They did throw it at only 4. There was no need for me to shield that. I was obviously going to survive it, no problem. And I would get to 2 Shadow Punches before they would be able to get to their next one. So I really didn't need to do that. Now I'm debuffed, and Stunfisk came back out. So now I'm going to be throwing these punches, which hit for neutral, but don't do anything because Stunfisk is super thick. Could have tried to CMP there, but I'm just going to let this go. and my Gengar is going to go down. Since they don't really have any energy, I'm going to send out a Escavalier. Going to throw this first Drill Run as soon as they reach their next Rock Slide, and I'm going to let this go also. Now that I've taken down their last shield, I don't need... If I shielded that with a Escavalier, they would outpace me to their next Rock Slide before I would be able to get to another Drill Run. So I'm just going to let that go. Bring out Gliscor, and I'm going to be able to make it to this Earthquake, no problem. So, yeah, leaving myself with very, very, very low health here, but, I mean, you can't Mudshot down a Gliscor. Gliscor has too much HP, and the Mudshots do 1 HP each because of the double resistance. But yeah, managed to take that game. So this first set went over pretty well. It was a nice, clean 5 out of 5. My Pokemon storage is full a lot lately. I've been trying to save all of the Wobbuffets that we had recently, and things like, the Stunfisk to try to trade out with someone for, like, distance. I'm basically waiting for someone from my neighborhood to come back from a vacation or something. I just need more of my neighborhood peeps to take more vacations. That's really all I need. And I go up to 2643. So 2643 stuck me at number 251 on the leaderboard, so it's not like a super high placement or anything, but, I mean, I'm still catching up because I got kind of a late start this season because I wasn't playing very seriously. I didn't know the leaderboard was going to be out so fast. So. Also, running non-XLs doesn't make it easy. Not going to lie about that. All right. So, off against the Drifblim lead. Drifblim is obviously really, really bad for Escavalier. It double or triple resists every one of Escavalier's moves. And yeah, I was able to get one of my Night Slashes out against Drifblim and take that and do some of that damage, so I'm in a pretty decent spot. Because really, I just need Drifblim to get chipped a little bit. And I really, really need to win this lead, and I think they know that too, which is why I baited Night Slash. I rarely bait against the Scrafty because just the Night Slash does so nothing. But managed to get the bait in there and land the Earthquake, so I'm able to win Switch here. That's super, super important. I thought that I would win CMP against Drifblim, and it turns out Gliscor doesn't win CMP against anything, so I'm going to get Icy Winded and going to get taken down. And yeah, now they're going to bring in a Drapion, so I'm just going to send Escavalier back out. Escavalier will be able to survive 2 crunches, and the Poison Stings do nothing, because the Steel typing double resists it, and Poison Sting to begin with is a really, really low damage, high energy move. So they're going to shield this Drill Run. And I'm not going to shield yet in case the crunch lowers my defense. I don't want to shield one of the earlier crunches, 30% chance that they get the defense drop. And I'm able to reach this Drill Run before they throw their next crunch. So able to almost take out Drapion, and then one more counter, and I take out the XL Drapion just fine. And now there's just Drifblim in the back, but my Gengar is going to just demolish there. So yeah, GG. All right. Next up, Escavalier and Scrafty again. Scrafty, very popular lead, is fine for Escavalier. This opponent is going to switch out into Nidoqueen. And I'm going to stay in for a bit. I'm going to throw this Drill Run. If it lands, it'll do a pretty substantial chunk of damage. There it goes. And now I switched out into Gliscor to try to catch the Earth Power, but they were not throwing it yet, which makes sense. Escavalier's counters don't put out a lot of fast move pressure. So since there's no threat from fast move damage, and it's only the charge move, they have a huge window to throw their first Earth Power if they were going to throw it. I'm going to end up taking 2 of these Poison Stings, and now I'm just going to go for the Night Slash, which still doesn't quite take out Nidoqueen, but I'm able to Wing Attack down before they're able to get another Poison Fang out. And now Alolan Ninetales comes out, so maybe they had the next Poison Fang, but didn't want to throw it because that would not provide Ninetales with as much farm. And I'm not going to be able to reach any kind of, useful charge move there. I'm just going to throw this Night Slash, which is basically nothing, to Ninetales. Night Slash from Gliscor does not hurt unless it's super effective, and even then, it doesn't hurt that much. Thankfully, Escavalier can kind of wall Alolan Ninetales, and yeah, Escavalier will do really, really well against Scrafty also. I had to send Escavalier out to absorb the damage from Ninetales, so saving Gengar in the back. I'm not going to shield this punch because, they weren't concealing that it was a punch. And here I can see that I'm going to get countered down, so I switch out to Gengar instead. I mean, I have 2 shields, and I'm pretty sure they're going to bait me at least once, and there goes the foul play, so they did not bait first, so that's good for me. And I'm just going to go straight Sludge Bomb here. And yeah, managed to take them down. So since that went down, my Escavalier is 1 counter away from the drill run, so as long as they don't store up back-to-back moves and take me out, I shield this first move because I was worried it might be a Psy Shock, but it turned out to just be a Weather Ball. And now I'm going to throw this punch. I could throw Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb would KO from this range, but I figured I would get a shield anyway, and I do. And now I can see I'm not going to make it to the Sludge Bomb, so I'm just going to throw this punch here, because that will put them down for sure into Drill Run range. They were really close to Drill Run range, but not quite there. Now they definitely are, so I'm going to survive that Weather Ball, switch out, get in my 1 counter, and then throw this Drill Run right away. And manage to take that game. GG. Apple juice and seltzer, if you're wondering. All right, next up against Trajan. Escavalier to Sirfetch'd. So Escavalier isn't amazing against actual fighters. I mean, you can see that our damage is coming in at about the same speed, but Sirfetch'd will reach its charge moves a lot faster. So I tried to switch into Gliscor to maybe catch something, and they ended up throwing a Night Slash anyway, which is interesting. Kind of makes me wonder if maybe they have Brave Bird or something instead of Leaf Blade. And then they're going to bring out Snorlax. So this is fine. I'm going to throw Earthquake. Again, Night Slash really just doesn't do that much damage to neutral targets. So I land that first Earthquake, and yeah, now I'm going to no-shield this Body Slam because Gliscor is pretty tanky. And I could have thrown my Night Slash and done some chip damage, but it wouldn't have done enough, so I'm just going to get taken out by this next Body Slam, and that is okay. Now I'm going to bring Escavalier in, and really what I'm doing is just trying to go for the big farm down. Since Sirfetch'd threw some of its energy, Sirfetch'd doesn't have a ton. I'm going to shield here in case they reach the superpower. I wasn't exactly counting. And it turned out to just be a Body Slam, but that's okay, because that would have also left Escavalier pretty low. Sirfetch'd is going to come out, and I am just going to throw this Drill Run right away, and then I'm just going to try to spam out my next one also. Thankfully, they don't get a counter in, which is nice. But because Sirfetch'd's counters do so much damage, I'm just going to switch out into Gengar, because I'm not going to be able to get to another Drill Run with Escavalier. I'm going to shield this Night Slash here. I would survive it, and I should have just not shielded and survived it instead because there's a Stunfisk in the back, so that is quite bad for me now. This is another one of those times where having Focus Blast would have been worlds better than having Sludge Bomb. But, I mean, you know, it happens both ways. Sludge Bomb has saved me already in the series that we saw earlier. So I'm just spamming out these Shadow Punches, trying to get all this chip damage in that I possibly can before Stunfisk is able to build up to 2 moves. They're going to throw their move here. Earthquake does take me out. I would have barely survived a Rock Slide. I'm able to get some counters in here, but they are going to reach their next Rock Slide. Escavalier will also survive this, but their Sirfetch'd is still too healthy, and I can't quite get to the Drill Run to take Sirfetch'd out. So GG to my opponent. But yeah, close game. I couldn't quite get Sirfetch'd out of the way, and Stunfisk into my Gengar without Focus Blast was really rough for me. So Machamp, similarly bad lead. I'm going to switch out straight to Gengar this time, and am countered by a Greedent. So I'm going to no-shield the first move. It should definitely be a crunch. It would be really weird for them to bait. It does a ton, but not enough that they don't have to throw at something else. And now I'm going to go straight Sludge Bomb because throwing the Shadow Punch would imply that I have a Focus Blast. The Greedent ended up not shielding, so if I had had a Focus Blast, that would have been amazing. And here I debate shielding, but decide to just let it go and let myself go down. So I can just bring in a Escavalier and get a ton of farm, kind of like what I did last time. I lost lead against a fighter. Gonna have to take this crunch, and then they actively switch out to Machamp, and rather than even throw something, I just switch out straight to Gliscor. So there's a decent chance that they have another pretty strong answer for Escavalier in the back, but it didn't make much sense to stay in against Machamp. I could have tried to throw energy, to throw a Drill Run to force a shield out of the Machamp first, but there wasn't that much need, and I'm just going to end up wing attacking the whole way down. So I've used one shield, but I have a ton of energy on Gliscor, and I have a move loaded on Escavalier. And Greedent comes back out. So I am just going to throw this Night Slash. It does not that much. And yeah, they are going to get to their Body Slam really, really quickly, so I'm just going to have to throw another Night Slash here to maybe force a shield. And now Gengar comes out. So that is a pretty good answer to Escavalier. I do have one move stored on it, but that won't be enough. I get out this Night Slash. I sneak in a Wing Attack here, which helps. I'm going to have to shield this Shadow Punch and throw my Night Slash. Can't believe they didn't shield the first Night Slash, but I guess makes some sense. Not going to shield, and then I'm just going to, or they are going to shield, and I'm going to bring a Escavalier out. They will definitely shield this Drill Run. And I just need to reach my next one before they get to back-to-back, and unfortunately they do. Excuse me. Fortunately, they were able to get to this Shadow Punch, CMP tying me. And now Glycer is going to come out, and they already have another punch loaded, so... yeah, not too much I could have done differently there. Maybe could have tried to stay in with Gliscor and do more Wing Attack damage, but it just wouldn't have been enough. All right, Escavalier into Machamp. Again, fighter leads, kind of tough for this team. I'm going to switch out to Gliscor right away this time. They stay in for a little bit and build up some energy and then switch out to Skarmory, which is terrible for me. So my Night Slash is hitting for neutral. My Wing Attacks and Earthquake are both single resisted. And, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of stuck Night Slash chipping, kind of hoping for the boost at this point, but if you're going to end up throwing like 5 Night Slashes, you do have a decent chance of getting it at that point. If it would be one of the earlier ones, obviously it would make this matchup a lot better. Third one, still no boost, makes sense, and now I'm going to throw my 4th Night Slash, and they still haven't thrown any energy yet, so that is terrible for me. They are at 10 Air Slashes at this point. And that was a CMP tie? No, they're just throwing here. This was a decent CMP tie. So I'm going to let it go. And they're going to end up throwing their next Sky Attack here. I decided to shield it and take down some shields. I know once I shield that they're definitely going to shield and not give up switch here. But I do kind of want shields to be lower because Machamp can't get as much done without shields. And since I know Machamp is going to come out and has a move stored, I was hoping maybe he would just blind throw. And that did not happen, so that's unfortunate for me. I'm going to have to shield this Rock Slide here. And there's a Nidoqueen in the back. So, yeah, that's rough. If I had Shadow Ball, that would be better here. But with only Shadow Punch and Sludge Bomb, I'm kind of stuck just Shadow Punching down. And, I mean, 2 Shadow Punches plus the Shadow Claws are enough. But I know this Nidoqueen is going to be able to reach its Earth Power before I'm able to Shadow Claw down. So Earth Power going to take Gengar out there, and I'm going to be able to get a little bit of energy on my Escavalier. But unfortunately, I'm going to end up having to take this Poison Fang, which is terrible because it lowers my defense. And now these counters and everything are going to be doing that much more damage. Like, I sneak in an extra counter there, but I'm not going to survive this because my defense was lowered, and all of those counters did more because my defense was lowered. So if I had managed to do a little bit more damage to Nidoqueen, maybe would have been able to take that. But, like, that was just some rough team comps. I mean, yeah, I have negative sets. It happens all the time, guys. All right, let's try to redeem here. Escavalier into Dragalge. This is a favorable-ish lead. And they switch out to Blastoise, and I don't have an answer for Blastoise, so I'm going to build up to the Mega Horn, and then I'm just going to bait Drill Run. I get a shield, and at that point I decide to just switch out to Gengar. Gengar is okay against Dragalge. I mean, everything on my team is okay-ish against Dragalge. Escavalier is probably my best answer. So, going to bring Gengar out, and I am going to go straight Sludge Bomb. It does quite a bit of damage to Blastoise, and I'm able to Shadow Claw down before they're able to get to another Hydro Pump, so that's fortunate for me. Gonna throw my Shadow Punch here, and I should be able to reach one more. Oof, close to being able to reach 2. So Shadow Punch doesn't have amazing efficiency. It's just that Gengar really needs kind of a spammy move a lot of the times. And a lot of the lower defense things like Machamp really take a lot of damage from it, so there's an argument to be had for running Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, or Shadow Ball, Focus Blast. Really, any set on Gengar makes some kind of sense, just kind of depends on what you're seeing. And I'm going to switch out into Gliscor here because, I mean, I feel like it would just be way too difficult to counter down, and it would just be easier to Wing Attack down with Gliscor. Dragalge's attack isn't that high, so even that super effective Aqua Tail just doesn't hit Gliscor that hard. I should have actually shielded though, because yeah, that Aqua Tail, as much as it doesn't hurt that much, it still hurts more than the Rock Slides from G.Fisk. So they're gonna no shield the first move, so my Earthquake goes through. That is fantastic for me. Now I just need to throw Night Slashes and chip down with Wing Attack. Able to reach their next move, and I'm just gonna shield this, right? Yeah. Shield this Rock Slide, build up a little bit of extra energy. Nope, never mind. I guess I'm not going to build up extra energy. I'm just going to throw this Night Slash. Makes sense. Dragalge is already super low. I'm just going to be able to Wing Attack Dragalge down and manage to take that game. GG. All right. Next up against You Are a Metagross. Calling names. Escavalier into Lapras. This is a fantastic matchup for Escavalier. He switches out into Lugia. And, I mean, I sent Gengar out. I'm not sure if that's the best move. I'm going to end up throwing this Shadow Punch here. Maybe I should have built up a little bit more energy to threaten the Shadow Ball, and I'm just going to throw this next Shadow Punch here. This Lugia has a ton of energy already, so I'm anticipating getting a shield, and I do. At this point now, they are at back-to-back Sky Attack, so I'm going to end up double shielding this just to maintain alignment. Because Lapras would be really devastating for Gliscor. Like, argument to be had for sending Gliscor out instead and saving Gengar, just because, you know, I'm pretty sure Gliscor would be able to have forced its way into switch advantage there, but I probably would be in a similar situation of not having a, of having to go down a shield. Thankfully, I get my shield back, throwing a Sludge Bomb against Lapras. Almost made it to my Shadow Punch, but not quite there. I'm just going to bring a Escavalier out. I can tank one of these Surfs without too much difficulty. And I am going to throw my Mega Horn in the middle of one of their Ice Shards. I could have thrown one more counter, but, you know, just in case I miscounted somewhere, I just wanted to throw that there. And then he switches out, and there's a Venusaur on the back, so this is fine. I'm going to throw this Mega Horn. Venusaur would win CMP against Escavalier if he had wanted to throw right away, but even if he did throw there, it wouldn't have been enough to take Escavalier out. Escavalier double resists all of Venusaur's moves, so this Frenzy Plant, as much as you're used to it hurting things a lot, just doesn't do that much to Escav. And then I'm able to just bring Gliscor out and Wing Attack down that Lapras, and take that game. GG. Alright. Next up, against Sir Roka Mighty. Escavalier into Alolan Ninetales. This is a pretty good matchup for Escavalier. It's not as dominating as you would think, just because I resist everything, just because I'm hitting back with neutral on everything. My opponent switches out into a Mandibuzz, and I don't have a specific answer to Mandibuzz, but I want to get my, I would like to get my Gliscor out onto the field at some point to get KO'd by this Mandy. So, since they no-shielded the Mega Horn, I'm just going to bring Gliscor out here. Gliscor is terrible at taking out Mandibuzz, but at least I don't have to shield anything. I'll be able to tank 3 Foul Plays and a couple of Snarls. Well, quite a few Snarls, I guess. Tried to throw my move there. I thought it was a decent CMP, but they ended up sneaking in a move, and that is unfortunate. But, I mean, all I can really do as Gliscor is just go straight Night Slash and hope for a boost, which would make my life a lot better. Not going to shield this Foul Play also. Brings me pretty low. I'm just going to try to spam out this Night Slash if I can get there, because I know Alolan Ninetales is going to come out, and it is going to take me out in 1 Powder Snow no matter what, and it actually is Charm instead, which is nuts. So the Night Slash hits for resisted and doesn't do anything, and now I'm just going to bring a Escavalier out. It's actually better for me that it has Charm. As much as it does more damage and chips me down more, Gengar will resist that also. And yeah, Scrafty goes straight Power-Up Punch, which kind of makes sense. You know, if you're up against Escavalier, you want to do more of that counter damage faster. So I get to save my shields for Gengar. I'm probably going to get baited at some point. There's a Power-Up Punch, but that's fine. My opponent has 2 shields also, so actually this is not great. I'm going to go straight Sludge Bomb, hoping that they're going to anticipate a bait, and they shield. So that's rough. I managed to sneak in a Shadow Claw, which helps. I'm going to shield this also, and this time it was a Foul Play, not a bait. Build up some extra energy. I'm going to throw my Shadow Punch here. and just kind of hope that they shield, and they do, thank goodness, because that allows me to get to the Sludge Bomb, CMP tying them with their foul play. So I needed that bait to go through after they baited me. And now Alola Ninetales is going to come back out, and I'm just going to be able to go straight Sludge Bomb and manage to take Ninetales down. GG. All right, next up against Psyche Cliff. Scavalier into Stunfisk. This is my favorite place to see Stunfisk, obviously. And yeah, Psyche Cliff is going to stay in. So that tells me he's definitely weak to a Scavalier in the back, or at least one thing in the back weak to a Scav. Just going to go straight Drill Run. I mean, I would survive an Earthquake from here, so I'm going to actually try no shielding, and it is a Rock Slide bait. They seem to be baiting half the time, and since Scavalier will survive the Earthquake anyway, I've taken to just no shielding the first move. It actually means that I will CMP tie them if they try to go Earthquake after. Even if no moves are snuck in, I will reach my second Drill Run when they reach their next Earthquake. So yeah, and everything he had in the back was weak against Gengar, so it was pretty much a straight team composition win. But yeah, managed to take that game. And next up against Logic Grizzly. Escavalier into Shadow Dragonite. So Shadow Dragonite is tough. I end up staying in with Escavalier because Escavalier at least resists this oppressive Dragon Breath damage. Maybe would have made more sense to switch out just to Gengar, just because Gengar outpaces Dragonite, whereas Dragonite will outpace Escavalier so much. I'm just going to end up no shielding this first Dragon Claw. Get to this Mega Horn, but very good counting by my opponent, so they CMP tie me. I'm going to have to shield this Dragon Claw so that I can get this Mega Horn out. I'm almost positive that they're going to shield, and that is fine. And I could maybe switch out of here, but I end up just staying in and trying and countering and giving them a bunch of farm. I'm pretty sure it was a mistake for me to stay in there as long as I did. But I didn't really want to get switch locked, and now I'm just going to bring out Gliscor. They switch into Politoed, and I decide to stay in for a little bit because this tells me that maybe they have two answers to Gliscor in the back. But there's not a lot of things that are a better answer to Gliscor than Politoed is, so maybe it would have made more sense to just switch out instead. I'm going to throw this Earthquake, which doesn't quite do enough to KO. And now I'm going to bring Gengar out. I don't want to shield this, but I do anyway, and that was probably a mistake. I have a bunch of excess energy now. Hopefully it's something in the back that Gengar can take out, like, I don't know, an Ice Ghost or something. And it is actually a Stunfisk, so pretty hard answer to Gengar that doesn't have Focus Blast. Yeah, I might rethink that. So kind of forced to just go straight Shadow Punch, which isn't fantastic against Stunfisk, just because Stunfisk is so tanky. CMP tied them there, and yeah, that Rock Slide is going to land, do quite a bit of damage. I'm going to switch out to try to get like an energy lead, and Dragonite is going to come in and just Dragon Claw me, and that does so much damage, not able to reach my Night Slash. Gengar is going to come out, and Dragonite is going to reach another Dragon Claw. I don't know that I played this last matchup as well as I could have. Yeah, I just was not that prepared for a Shadow Dragonite lead. I think the move is probably to just switch out right away to Gliscor. Would have gotten me locked against the Politoed, so actually, yeah, that was just a really tough team composition overall for me. No matter how you build your team, sometimes you're going to get comped. It's a fact of GBL. But yeah, managed to still go 4 out of 5 on that set. Climb overall gain up to 2667. That put me at number 245 on the leaderboard, so not like super high, but it's a decent placement, especially considered I'm going full non-XL just to make my life difficult. I don't know. Some people asked, so I obliged. But yeah, that's my pick for non-XL team for Remix Cup. I have another variant of the team that uses Snorlax instead of Gliscor. I'm going to try to post a few of those videos in the next day or two. Don't forget to do the thing you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. You know you're supposed to do them. Please do the things. I'll catch you guys on the next one.